Show. My name's Joey and I'm joined by Neil.
Hello.
Hello. And I'm joined by Laurie.
Hello.
He of the Lonely Season. It's a slight gap between both of the hellos there, but never mind. He of the Lonely Season blog. How are you, my fella?
Yeah, not bad, thanks, mate. Just recovering from spending more than 2 hours in Swindon, but other than that, grand.
Ah, very good. Neil, how are you?
I'm okay, Joseph. Bit poorly, but okay.
Yeah, unlike this podcast, which is distinctly unpoorly, in the sense that we have no
Indeed.
Paul. Yeah. More of that.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, we've been gone for a while, but glad to see that we've picked up the same level of gusto that we left with. We're actually going to start this season's podcast proceedings with a pretty exciting new feature. We're going to be doing Cup Draw Live very shortly. This is going to be the only way that we expect that you can check the. I'm not even sure what cup it is. Is it the League Cup?
I think, yeah, the
English Paint Cup, I think.
But still the League Cup, although...
Is it called the EFL
Yes.
Cup now?
Yeah, the EFL Cup, yeah.
Yeah, and is that the League Cup, or is that the Johnston's Paint Trophy?
It looks
No, that's
very
the
American.
League.
It's the League Cup.
It's the League Cup.
What's the Johnston's Paint Trophy called now, then?
Oh, what is that now, Laurie? It's some sort of weird league system, isn't it? What is it?
I think it's defunct. It's like dental floss. It's the Dental Floss Cup. No one cares.
Yeah.
Irrelevant now.
Yeah. But what we're going to be doing for you, ladies and gentlemen, is we are going to be broadcasting live the results of the cup draw. So this is going to be the first place that you're going to get to hear who we've got in the next round. So, do we want to have some predictions for... We build up to who we think we're going to get, but perhaps you may have noticed that Luton beat Villa tonight. Does anyone want to speculate who Luton might get in the next round? Neil, perhaps.
Oh, I don't know. Coventry. Look how on the ball I am.
I'm going to have to scratch that from the record because that does count as a prediction for who Coventry will get in the next round. Yeah, so I'm afraid that's going to be the sort of pinnacle of where we get up to with this. So if you could scratch that, please. Laurie, I'm going to move on to you. Neil, then you can come back and we can talk about who you think Luton are going to get.
I think we're going to get Morecambe, 100%.
No, you've misunderstood the premise of this. I'm looking very specifically for who you think Luton are going to get. And like I say, the whole thing will be that we build up to a big... the big climax of this feature will be us predicting...
Right, Luton to get MK Dons away.
Okay. Do you know whether they're still in, or... Do you know if they won on...
No.
No? I am going to go for Norwich. Is that right?
I think they might actually be seeded, mate.
Yeah, but I think they go...
Oh, no, they're still seeded. They're in, yeah.
Yeah, I think they go in next round. So I'm going to go for Luton, Norwich. Laurie, you went for Luton against... Morecambe. And Neil?
I've got to change my mind, have I?
Well, you can't say Cov. I can't remember who you said.
Oh, but I think it will be Cov. What do we do in this situation?
Oh, do you know what? Fine. I don't think you guys are taking this seriously, if I'm honest.
You sensed it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
There are still two teams playing extra time, so it's going to be tricky, isn't it?
Does that mean that we've got to come back to Cup Draw Live? Is it 10:30? I thought it was 10 o'clock.
Oh, same.
I feel like they're waiting, aren't they, until it's all done with, and then they're going to do it.
This is the problem with a live broadcast like this, is that there's literally nothing else you can do but roll with the punches.
Yeah, well, we can do that.
Well, yeah, it's starting to feel very much like the ITV situation where Roy Keane was trapped in a hell of his own making, where that game had been on the verge of being rained off, and they had to wait to see whether it was going to happen or not, and so they had to just fill. It was like him, Childs, and Gareth Southgate. Forced to fill for half an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's pretty much, I mean, that's reasonably akin to what's going on there. But like I say, live podcasting, that's just what...
Swindon have just equalised against QPR, just for the record.
Hot off the press.
Brophy, their best player.
James Brophy. Have you got the same... Are you watching Sky Sports News as well?
No, classic.
Oh, really? Okay.
Bill Payer. BBC football.
Decent. We've got an exclusivity right to... We're watching it through Sky Sports News, but we are the only people in the country who are allowed to do that. To bring you this live cup draw now. I think maybe what we should do is start with some podcast then, and then presumably I'll keep an eye on this, and then when we get to cup draw live, we'll head on to that. What do you think about that?
That sounds best.
Fabulous. Let's do a little bit of what did you do this summer, guys? Neil, what did you do this summer?
Oh, what did I do this summer? Didn't enjoy the Euros.
It's a bit rubbish, wasn't it?
It didn't fulfil its promise. I thought it could be quite interesting. I just think the whole additional number of teams didn't work. Made it a little bit too easy to get out of the group, and then England was shite, so that didn't help. And then I just come back from Barcelona, which was lovely. And that was my summer.
Was that with a work thing, or was that a little personal job?
No, that very much pleasure. So I just went and enjoyed myself. I took myself a little bit of a summer holiday just to prepare myself for this podcast. And I've come back rather ill, so it worked.
Oh, well, yeah, it doesn't really sound like it did, but there you go. Laurie, about you?
Yeah, I didn't waste any time watching England at the Euros. So I was.
Did you not?
No. Well, I obviously watched the games, but I didn't emotionally involve myself because I feel like I do that for 10 months of the year. But I went on a few little trips, which were very nice. Went to Spain, went to France, and then went to Dorset last weekend, which is good.
Wow.
With the family, but somehow got 25-degree weather for that, which is great. But yeah, it was a good summer.
That's lovely.
Good travelling.
Yeah.
I feel like you're talking about this like we're in year 5 and we've had our summer holidays. Everyone's still been getting to work every day. It's still rubbish.
No, that is pretty much what's happened. I mean, if you think of this as being school, which I think a lot of people use this as an educational tool.
It is a bit like that, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's very much like that.
Joey, what do you do?
I went to Liverpool one day.
Did you know?
I did, yeah. It was going to be...
Can it be
summer holidays?
We stayed over and we were going to go and do something the next day, and then we got to come back early, so... But apart from... Yeah, it was great.
Hope you took your passport.
Yeah.
Fair play.
So, yeah, it's pretty cool. We've got a whole world of football to talk about. I'm not really looking forward... I'm not really looking forward to this season.
They're not making it easy, are they?
No. It's this 2016. I mean, I know this is the most cliched thing in the world. It's not great, has it? Just all told.
It's not been a great year, has it?
Just for everything that could possibly go wrong. Yeah, all that.
Just a few apocalyptic events that have occurred in the last 3 or 4 months. Yeah, ignoring them. Other than that, amazing.
And Coventry doesn't seem to be... I don't know, do we want to talk about any of the academy or any of that? Or should we just get onto the pitch? I don't think we do we?
Not the academy stuff, no. I think that's too much politics for our brains.
Yeah, we've actually got football to talk about. Let's stick to that. Laurie, you were at Swindon. And, yeah, do you want to give us a little rundown on what you thought about that?
Yeah, sure. So... It was lovely weather to kick off with. Saw some cricket beforehand, also pleasant, just next to the game. But as soon as I turned up to the game and all the players came out, didn't really recognise anyone. That was the main thing that blindsided me, because we've got all these weird numbers on the back of our shirts, and also 8 of our team were new people. So we lined up 3-4-3. Which I thought was initially to protect Kean Harris from actually having to do any work, because he had to play and there wasn't anybody else to play. But it actually turned out to be our tactics. But from what I can tell, if you play 3-4-3, the main aim of that is to basically give yourself 5 defenders. So then you should, because the wing-backs come and drop in, and then you should have more time on the ball, so you can kind of find some passes, stamp your mark on the game, and just generally be a bit more relaxed. But that didn't really seem to work, because every time we played a pass, we were on a knife edge. We just carried on straight from last season. Everyone seemed a bit nervous. And we were making mistakes all over the place. People didn't really want the ball. Kelly Evans looked good at right back, considering it was almost his debut. Did he play against Oldham last season? I can't remember.
He did play against Oldham. Yeah.
He did, yeah. Considering that it was basically his first game that actually mattered, he did really well at the start. Things changed a little bit in the second half, but he did well. And so we actually dominated Swindon for the first maybe 15, 20 minutes. We had a few chances. They looked awful, obviously, as they always do at the start, because they know they're going to score 4 goals in the last 10 minutes, like they always do. So they don't really need to try very hard. But we looked good. But the 2 chances that we had came from their mistakes, essentially. So Marvin Sordell ended up getting past the ball, and he got a deflected shot off that kind of rebounded off the post. And that was close, and that was kind of like a nice start. And then there was another one where he got gifted the ball, and it was essentially 3 of our players. I'm sure everyone's seen it on the highlights, but as 3 of our players, he should have given it much earlier than he did, and he gave it to the wrong player. I can't remember who it was in the centre of the pitch. It was probably Marvin, because like who else would it be up there? But he played it to him, who then had to play it to George, and George's finish was like, he took it with the wrong foot, and it was like laughable. But it wasn't an easy chance, but as soon as the ball broke, you thought, we have to score here. It's one of those ones, and as soon as we didn't, you were like, okay, if we're not going to score in those kind of situations, when are we going to score? So it seemed a little bit ominous in that sense. And George Thomas had a difficult game. He's been getting a little bit of flack on Twitter and etc. Obviously, he's very young, and I really like him as a player. I'm still remembering that Fleetwood goal that me and Joey celebrate like absolute madmen, even though it was technically an own goal, but I call it his goal. But yeah, I just don't really know what his best position is. He's like not really quick enough to be playing on the last man. He's obviously not much of a finisher, unless this is just nerves, because the 2 chances he got, like, it's just really, really bad efforts. He must be nervous, but he can't be more nervous than like Kean Harries or Kelly Evans. He needs to be at least like challenging the keeper. Like, I don't want to be mean to him, because I'm definitely one of those people who would bowl in on Twitter and be like, stop slagging off the young player. But he does need to give us a little more to feed on than that.
But I think
in terms of everybody else,
I think the crucial bit of it is that I was on Twitter last night and saw a lot of it happening, and it was somebody who posted a thing on Sky Blues Talk, and there's a difference between saying,
that one, like, what's the point?
Yeah, and I'm not one for going on Sky Blues Talk. It just so happened that I was skimming through and it was there, and I had a look.
It's not a very articulated point, is it? What's the point?
Well, I just most of the criticism on that thread was people just saying he's shit. And you just think, get a grip. I don't mind someone saying, oh, he could have done better with that, or he took it on his wrong foot, or he needs to be thinking. That's constructive criticism of someone, but just a 19-year-old. Somebody put on, I think it was Tom Furnival Adams put on Twitter that Callum Wilson at the same age had played 18 times for Kettering and scored once. I don't think he made his first team debut at that point. You just give him a bit of a break. I don't mean he's going to turn out and be Pele or whatever, but just leave him alone for a second.
Do you know how old he is?
19, isn't he?
19, isn't he?
Jesus, yeah. All right, fair point.
I think that's the crucial thing, though, isn't it? That sort of what Tom said was around when you compare him to other players of similar age. Not many of them have sort of the same sort of impact. I mean, I'll go on record to say I've watched him enough time. I don't think he's going to make it, but that's like a scouting opinion. That's what you make opinions on players, and I don't think he will, because I don't think he's got any sort of distinct sort of attributes which will set him apart from other players. But
I'd agree with that.
He's still young, and there must be a capability there, because he gets all the praise in training. So it feels to me like it's more of a mental issue than sort of a capability issue. It's more like he needs to do what Callum Wilson did and start believing in himself, start realising that he's in the team for a reason, and actually start delivering because he believes he can deliver. And I think that's where he's going to struggle, and that's why this could be make or break for him. Just because if he doesn't change the way he thinks about the game, or the way he feels he can sort of impact a match, he won't last much longer, and that's a shame because if he's got this natural ability that everybody keeps telling us he's got in training, then it would just be a waste.
And yeah, I really agree. Like, I think if those chances had fallen to him in an under-21s game, he wouldn't have taken the 5 touches that he did on Saturday. He would have just hammered it first time, and that's exactly what he needed to do in that game. But I think it must have been a massive deal for him starting the first game of a season for the first team. Like, it's huge because even though we haven't signed the players, you're still getting that vote. Like, you are the best player that we have available now. It's not like admittedly we haven't brought them in yet, but he is still the best player on the books. So he must be feeling that.
Wilson got the same, didn't he? He got the same vote from Presley, him and Clark. We wouldn't expect him to do anything. And I guess the difference of it's only been 2 games, so you can't really tell. But the difference there was Wilson came out sort of organs blazing. Thomas hasn't quite done that yet.
No, but obviously there's no time for the Sky Blues talk stuff. It's just like George Thomas deserves a few games, but I wonder where that's going to be because the system we're playing, if he plays through those front 3, he can't be the middle guy, and he's going to be on either side of that, and he doesn't really have. He's not good at crossing. He's not super rapid, so it's just kind of unclear where he fits into that system. But time will tell. In terms of Jody Jones was the main highlight. He looks to have bulked up a bit since the end of last year. He seemed like a bit of a kid in the playground at the end of last season, admittedly an exciting one, but he just looks a bit stronger. His decision making is a little bit better, and I think he has to be, more than the fact that he looks like, but he has to be a shining light for us this year. Otherwise, we're in a lot of trouble. I just wonder where, thinking in a kind of Nola perspective, he's got to score between 5 and 10 goals for us this season, because I don't see where the goals are coming from otherwise. But I'm not really sure he's capable of scoring that many goals. He's just he's more putting them on a plate. But we'll see. He was promising, and he got to taken off. I think he pulled up a bit, and that was why he came off.
Did he score last season?
Else?
I don't think
he did. Did he?
I don't think he did. Admittedly, I'm not having a go. He didn't play very many games, obviously. But I think you make a really interesting point about him needing to get 5 to 10 goals. I would suggest with that formation, which looks like it's what we're going to do this season, I think you probably might need a few more than that, because I think you're looking at those 3 players being the goal scorers. Because I don't think
they're your strikers, aren't they?
Yeah, you're basically looking at a much more. So last season when we were playing 4-2-3-1, you're defending with 4 and defending with 6 and attacking with 4. This was much more like defending with 7 and attacking with 3. And I think you're looking to accommodate 3 very attacking players. And if that's the case, you're going to need them realistically to be on sort of 10-15 each, I would have thought. And I'm only looking exclusively at previous year's records. But Kyle Reid is a player who I'm really excited to see, who I think will be, hopefully, quite a good player for us. But I'm not sure that's a 10-goal-a-season guy. I hope to be proven wrong massively. I think it's a pretty bold experiment, I would suggest, that he's taken with this formation. And the last manager that went into a season with a back 3 didn't do particularly well. I hope it pays off a million times better. And I can't wait to hear Nola's reaction, because he's been begging for 3-4-3 for years.
Really? That's his football manager formation.
It's his absolute go-to. Whenever the chips are down, it's either go to 4-4-2 and grind out a 0-0 draw, or it's let's play 3-4-3. Let's go balls to the wall and play 3-4-3.
But 3-4-3 is 5-2-3. It's such a weird formation.
Yeah, I know, but I can't wait to. I really hope it might be something that makes him happy. Although I doubt that'll be the case. But yeah, the point you're making, back to where it started about, I think you're looking at that, and you're going to need either a striker who's going to shit goals, or you might need Jody Jones and Kyle Reid to step up significantly.
But I think what's going to happen this year, instead of us being Kevin Keegan, we're going to be more trying to be Burton, aren't we? We're not going to try and score as many goals as we scored last year. I'd say we're probably aiming for about a third less, but we're just trying to keep about 10 more clean sheets than we did last year.
If you watched last night, you wouldn't think that. It was a bit
yeah, really. Okay. I mean, last night, maybe it was hopefully an anomaly, but I don't know. Just trying to think what else I want to say about Saturday. The centre pairing, which is what I was most excited about. I didn't really have anything to comment. I was just like, these look relatively like sturdy, like nothing spectacular. It's just really nice to have two massive lads in the middle of the park. Like, it's so rare. Like, it always makes me think of that guy that Wolves had in their centre midfield when they got promoted, and he came to Sixfields and was just an absolute tank and just dominated the centre of the park. And I was like, I just want a player like that to play for us, because you just always feel safe if you got him in your team. And I'm not saying that these two played as well as that, but they're units. They win headers. They don't shirk tackles. Like, they just look tough. They don't look like a Connor Thomas, who, I mean, at least he beat us, fair play to him, but he's like a streak of piss, isn't he? He's like not going to scare anyone. But yeah, having Rose and Garzev, I think they'll come together, and like, they're not going to be as like finesse as John Fleck was, but they are going to be sturdy, and they're not going to get kind of overrun, which is, yeah, good to see.
Talking to the central midfield, I guess we've got to address the fact that Vincelo has gone. Neil, have you got any thoughts on that?
I was angry. No, it seems sort of meaningless, just given how little we got for him. And you kind of wonder, well, what does that go towards? 60 grand? What's that? Is that someone's a year's wages for someone else? And if that's the case, why wouldn't you just keep the one you already had? And it's just...
Wait, so did we lose money on that deal then?
No.
Yeah, well, pretty much, because we paid more than that for him, didn't we? Was it 90 or 100 or something?
I'm pretty convinced we paid 25 for him.
Oh, really? Well, that's nothing then, isn't it? But even so, it's nothing money, really, in the context of the season. And I saw afterwards where it kind of it was sort of boiled down to, this is all part of a plan. Balls. This wasn't part of a plan. This is him having to sell a player because he was told to sell a player. You can't tell me he wants to get rid of Vincelo and then not bring anybody else in. Or it just doesn't make any sense. Or it can't be his plan to start the season with this squad or go into that Swindon game with that team, because that's not a plan. That's just a bunch of players put into a team because that's all you can do. And that Vincelo one was just... It just smacks me sort of crazy. And when you look at actually the team that finished last season and then compare it to what started this season, I can't see any improvement in that. And that's what I was told at the end of last season. I wasn't allowed to get angry because we didn't go up, because it's all about improvement. And next season there'll be an improvement. And then when you see the difference in team, and we've lost all our good players, and we're just picking up anybody who's available, I find it very disingenuous being told that this is part of a plan and this is all going to come together when it quite clearly isn't a plan. We're just doing the best we can to get whatever squad we can together.
And also, if you look at that centre pairing and the amount of players you end up using in a season, and you have Garzev and Rose there, and if you had Vincelot just there as like, not backup, but to play centre mid, and then maybe have Rose playing on either side or something, it just like makes us infinitely stronger. And just now we're bringing, just so much better. Like, he is a good League One player, and we can't afford to be just getting rid of good League One players, because like apparently they don't just float around. According to us, they do. But yeah, it's nonsense getting rid of him for that kind of pittance of cash. When like, what's that going to do really? That's like 1,000 pies.
He's the right age. I thought he was. Admittedly, I think there was a period of the season where he tailed off a little bit, but he would have been a strong shout for one of our players of the season last season. And
definitely,
I don't think he was on a phenomenal amount of money. I do think it's beyond question that he's one of the better players we've got in the squad, and a player that, if you remember, certainly we were saying when he first came in, how long have we needed a defensive midfielder of that quality for, and how surprising is it that they're few and far between in this league, and for him to have gone...
And then he did it.
I'm completely with you on this one, Neil. Something smells bullshit to me. It just don't add up, does it?
And it's stupid because you know how Bradford were like, oh, this isn't just a short-term thing. This is something we've been looking at for a while. What that means is that they had no chance of getting him for ages. And then we were suddenly like, oh, actually, have you got 100 quid? Yeah, that'll do. Like, yeah, he can go. See you later. That doesn't make it feel any better when they give out statements like that.
And he loves it around here. He loved Leamington. He loved that. Was no wanker. He just loved it all.
There is no wanker. Yeah, amazing. No melon.
No melon, yeah.
Exactly. And now he's got
melon,
to go Bradford.
There's probably less melons there.
He gave me so many good moments last season, both on and off the pitch.
I remember when he shaved his beard off and he had a shit fit.
Fucking little meltdown. He's lovely. Him and Rita Johnson with their dogs.
Oh, God.
That was a personal highlight. I loved a bit of that. Oh, fucking Romain. Yeah, never mind. So he's gone. Aaron Martin as well.
I love the thought of like a French connoisseur in that dressing room as well. All those meatheads banging around him, like, de la blonde, and then being like, what, Vincent? Shut up.
In my head, it's that cliche of footballers listening to music like on the stereo before games and everything.
Yeah.
He just nonchalantly strolls up, bit of Serge Gainsbourg, bit of Air.
Oh, yeah.
MC Solar.
Yeah. Yeah. Aaron Martin as well is one that I increasingly feel like, don't worry, we've got a plan, has become, that plan is just to not re-sign good players, not replace them either.
Sweet Aaron Martin. Gone.
I mean, look, this is the sort of thing that I think we could listen back to in 6 months' time and think, oh, okay, well, egg on our face. But I think we're happy to have egg on our face in this sense, aren't we? It would be delightful to find that we've been proven wrong. I
would go to a foam bath of egg if we proved to be wrong. Like, I would love it.
I would replace my own face permanently with just an egg.
But do you remember this time last year when we were all bricking it because we hadn't signed this, that, and the other? I think we only signed Armstrong like about 9 days ago this time last year.
Yeah.
But
no Jacob.
Then we just started blowing people away. But where are the goals coming from? Like, everyone looks terrified.
I can't believe Adam Armstrong. I watched the Newcastle game on Friday. I'd have thought bring him on sooner. I don't know why he's not. I think he's third choice there temporarily.
Who's he behind?
Ayoze Perez and Mitrovic. But I think Mitrovic is a lunatic, isn't he? So I think they might not be sticking around. He might be near the first team, but I just wish they'd... I'm just bitter. I want him back. Or I'd be...
Yeah, he wouldn't come back. None of the ones that we had last year would now come back because the little click's gone, hasn't it? All the ones that they come back to see. I mean, apart from Charles Cook, who I guess they all like.
The little Instagram click.
Yeah. All off their separate ways. Getting rich.
Sad, isn't it?
Scoring goals in the Championship like Jacob Murphy is.
Enjoying life.
That was such a Jacob Murphy. I think you actually tweeted it, Neil. Such a Jacob Murphy goal. Like, him in a kind of tight space in the centre of the park, doesn't have a clue what to do because he has no football brain, just absolutely hammer it into the top corner.
I miss it. Yeah.
I think we might be fast approaching Cup Draw Live again.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the return of the feature that...
Stop dangling the carrot.
Nobody asked for is back at you, yeah. It looks like it's going to be directly after this break. So I'm going to ask you another question. QPR have been the last team, it looks like, to go through. Question is, who do you want to see them get in the next round? Neil, I'm going to start with you.
Right, just let me have a look at who's gone through. QPR. I have a feeling, Joey, based on the fact that they were the first team I saw, that they're going to meet Bristol City.
That's interesting.
That's how this works, isn't it?
An all-championship clash, is that what you're predicting there?
Apparently I am, yes.
Yeah. Laurie, I'm son of Bristol.
Yeah.
You'd be...
I think they might get Luton, I reckon.
Really?
Just because all I've got in front of me is today's fixtures. So.
You realise again that Luton was the prediction for the first round, and in the same way that Neil couldn't have Cov, you can't have. But again, I'm not sure you're.
If it feels good, do it.
You're in here, aren't we?
Yeah, you're not
very
taking,
keen quality filling.
You're not taking this serious, Laurie. Neil, you're not taking this seriously. This might be the last time we do this. For what it's worth,
is it on yet?
I think they will get... Wait, I haven't done my prediction yet. I think they will get... who won a game yesterday?
Millwall.
I think they'll get Millwall, yeah.
I feel they'll get Millwall as well as Bristol.
That'll be interesting because that'll be an all-London championship. Oh, no, wait, no. Millwall didn't go up, did they?
Still all London, though. Geography.
Yeah, still a big
Very
all-London tie, yeah. I think we're probably about ready to go to the COV predictions. This is the big one.
Okay.
This is what everyone's been waiting for, is for us to predict who we think that Coventry City will get in the next round, ahead of us doing Cup Draw Live, where we'll be bringing you the full Cup Draw, live and in full. Neil, again, do you want to start? Who do you think that Cov will get?
Well, I wanted us to get Bradford, but they went out. So I'll go for Accrington.
Is there any reason that you wanted us to get Bradford, Neil?
I wanted to bring Vincelot home.
Oh, really?
And then just not allow him to leave.
That would have been nice. Laurie, have you got who do you think for the Cov draw?
I would really love them to get someone in London, obviously, but I think it will be someone suitably annoying who I want to go and see but can't. So maybe Southampton. No, that can't be Southampton, can it?
I think
maybe
are they in Europe?
Blackburn.
Blackburn definitely
yeah.
still in it.
Yeah, 4-2.
Okay. Which I'm desperately trying to find the list of teams that it could be. I'm going to go for.
Is it draw time yet?
I'm going to go for Burton. Burton Albion.
Ooh, big call there, Joey. Big call.
Another one of the 4 fixtures today.
Yeah, I think it could be. Well, no. I'm just saying. Look, that's a coincidence. I think it really, genuinely could be Burton that we get.
Is this like that thing you slagged off on the Cov Telegraph, which is like, who will Cov play on the first day of the season? Anyone, maybe.
Yeah, it'll be probably another League One team, most likely to be. Right, we're going to take you. We're going to take you live into the Sky Sports News studio, I think now.
Who's doing it? Who we got?
I don't know. It's still the man who's the presenter, the sort of presenter that they get in on a Wednesday night.
Not the 1 a.m. shift.
Yeah, not a box office one. Well, they've gone straight to man of the future Roberto Di Matteo.
He looks like an ant.
He does. I mean, and he looks. I'll tell you what, he's gone full Blair. He looks like the Villa job has aged him significantly in the course of this week.
What I find nuts about him is he's actually lifted the Champions League,
Yeah.
and you'd think that would exempt you from crap jobs forever, but it simply doesn't, does it?
No, I think the fact that he completely lost the Champions League when he was going to get it, he basically was saying to Abramovich, "You can't sack me now, really, can you?" And he was like, "I bet I can."
I'll do my very best.
I bet when you're 4th next season, I'll find some bullshit reason to get rid of you. It's not happening. I don't know whether Laurie, have you got any final Swindon thoughts?
Yeah. So Brophy, he is going places. He's absolutely amazing.
Oh yeah, he scored again tonight, did he?
He did score again tonight. I tweeted him after the game, told him how good he was, and he tweeted me back. So obviously, I'm a massive fan of his now.
Nice.
Kwame Thomas is. I mean, he looks clumsy at best. I hope that is maybe early season nerves, but I don't hold a lot of hope for him. Even my girlfriend, who hadn't been watching the game for an hour, commented on how dopey he looked. So that doesn't bode well. Yeah. Kelly Evans got made to look silly towards the end of the game because Brophy was playing so well. I can't believe Tudguy didn't get brought on in that game. It was absolutely perfect for him. Marvin Sordell was great for the first half. Interesting to hear he got taken off because he was getting sent off, which I didn't realise. Ruben Reed looked kind of rusty in the second half, to be honest. Sorry, Kyle Reid. Sorry, Ruben. I always say Ruben Reid because Ruben Reid went to my school, so I'm actually always quite affiliated with Ruben Reid, and I'm kind of sad he never made it properly.
Did you deliberately get his name wrong so that you could drop that name in there?
I don't know. I also played against Scott Sinclair. If you want some more sweet football stories from the Lonely season.
I got a footballing story for you then. Let's do this.
Go on, do it.
It's nutmegged Kelvin Langmead. Of,
Who's that?
he played for Preston for a year or two. At Shrewsbury, he was with them for a long time as well.
Oh, really?
So don't you who's that me? He's high quality.
Oh, it sounds like you ended his career.
Oh no, that was just before he became big time.
Oh, nice. Have we got any more?
I played with a Kenyan international. He wasn't Kenyan international at the time. He was only 10. But yeah,
Oh.
that's about it really.
Not bad.
Oh no, I've got another one. Oh no, I was trained by Craig Shakespeare as well. You know, the Leicester assistant manager.
Oh, nice.
Can't say toilet properly.
I have a little.
Ironic.
I have a feeling that you might be a little bit tasty, or you were in your heyday, Neil. Is that true?
In my heyday, I had a bit of skill about me. Yeah.
Why do you not think I was tasty, Joey? That's offensive.
I don't know. I imagine you wear that little hat that I've seen you wear when you're playing football.
Oh, do you, Joey? I hear you.
I do,
Weirdy
yeah.
beardy.
I do, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Neil, if you're gonna, in fact, question to both of you: if you're gonna compare your playing style to a Coventry City player, past or present, who would you choose?
Kevin
that's
Thornton.
I was about to say the same.
Both go for Kevin Thornton.
No, James
definitely.
Madison.
You're going for Madders.
Piss off. Be realistic.
I was flimsy and knocked off the ball, but I like a trick or two.
Actually, maybe I'd be more like Richie Partridge because I had about one good season and then I went horrendously off the ball for 5 years.
Oh, lovely stuff. I like the fact that you both went for Kevin Thornton. Were you thinking immediately of Boones there?
Do you know,
or?
he's playing for Coventry United now or something
He is,
ridiculous
yeah.
I saw.
I think he was at Rugby Town last season, tearing it up. And I think, yeah, you're right, I think he's at Cov United.
Fair play to him. I bet they're playing him a decent wedge.
I wonder if he's...
Ticker is...
I wonder if
Here we
he's
go,
on
it says on the ticker.
Oh, hello.
We've got,
EFL
it's on
Cup
it.
second round draw coming up shortly.
Wait, I want
on-
to see this ticker. What ticker's on?
Are you on Sky
I'm on the
Sports
Sky
News
Sports
then, Neil?
website. I've got the first one. I know what it is. Am I ahead of you?
Okay, you might have to broadcast it live while we sort out the technical issue. Oh, hello. Okay,
I've got the first two.
I've got
Do
Ian
I say
Dowie.
'em?
Yeah, go for it.
I've got QPR Rochdale. Have you got that?
No, not yet. I've got Ian Dowie stood awkwardly with his legs really wide apart, like he normally does.
But that could be any point in history. We need details.
But they're talking about the possibility of a cup draw by the looks of it.
I think I'm
Scunny
live
v
then.
Cardiff, Bristol City, Watford
Yep.
versus Gillingham.
There we go.
Okay.
We're on this now. Peterborough, Swansea. Ooh.
Oh, okay.
Let's see.
I hope everyone's paid their TV licence for this listening, because otherwise...
They'll be on.
Let's can we recap? Who do QPR get?
Rochdale.
So none of us were right.
No.
It's poor form. from
Oh,
everyone.
Everton Yeovil's a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, big one. That's a bit of a journey, isn't it?
Just to keep you updated with my internet, I've just seen the first draw come out now.
Millwall Forest.
Apparently QPR have got Rochdale.
To reiterate.
Um,
Do you reckon people will keep listening to this?
I
The
don't
fact
know.
that we've got nothing to say. We're just saying this, aren't we? Like listening.
Luton Leeds, that's spicy.
Yeah, that's an alright
Insight.
draw, isn't it? Yeah. Right,
Oh,
I'm giving.
no one said that, did they? No, that's a shame.
I'm giving. Oh yeah, good call. That's the second one that we've all got wrong. We really need our Cov ones to come in, otherwise we got more egg on our face. This is practically a vegan.
Are we
club.
going to stop watching when Cov come through?
No. I think it's.
You've got to see it through. Oh, here we go. Here's the big one.
Chelsea Rovers City. What? How has that happened?
Where
Just
is
in
Have
case
Rovers
that
got to
was-
play City?
Must be. Chelsea against Bristol Rovers or Bristol City, not Rovers City.
Oh. Where's the
Bur-
Where's the live draw on the
Burton,
BBC
Liverpool.
website? Oh, so that's my Cov prediction.
I'm on Sky
the fucking
Sports.
Bin. Oh, that's ridiculous, guys. I'm actually quite a
That
big
Burn
fan.
crew.
I'm actually quite a big fan of the fact that the BBC haven't got a live draw on, because it is pointless, isn't it? You might
Yep.
as well just wait.
Yeah.
Here we
Against
go.
modern football.
Here we go. This
Let's
is-
see.
Quick reminder: this is a live draw for you. Live cup draw.
People are not going to listen to this.
Live cup draw for the new season.
I Are you on it yet, Joey? Or do you want me to catch
I'm
people
getting
up?
there. I'd like you to catch people up if that's all right.
Right, we've got 4 to do. So Accrington against Burnley. So that's another one of my predictions is gone. Crystal Palace against Blackpool. Morecambe against Bournemouth. Preston.
Oxford, Brighton.
Yep,
Jesus.
that's a good. Oxford, Brighton. 2 new stadiums. Knowledge.
That is good knowledge, yeah.
Reading against MK Dons. 2. Not reasonably. Oh,
I feel like
but
Oxford,
basically,
Brighton's got to be the most middle-class fixture of all time.
Yeah, that's probably fair enough. Reading versus MK Dons, the conurbation derby.
Roundabout.
as no one has ever called it. God, there's some horrible trips for people.
Newcastle, Cheltenham.
oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, bearing in mind these will all be midweek, won't they? Newcastle, Cheltenham,
Exeter.
Oh yeah, cheers fixtures. Yeah, Fulham,
Who's doing this?
Middlesbrough,
Virgin Trains.
Morecambe, Bournemouth, Palace, Blackpool. These are literally all North versus South. I guess anyone
Jesus.
against Carlisle would be a distance, wouldn't
Yeah.
it? Derby, Carlisle.
That's fine.
There we go. Local derby-ish.
Yeah. Presumably everyone can see that coming out. So
Didn't actually say who that was. Did we? That was Northampton, West Brom.
There we go. Call everyone up there. Keep them coming, Neil.
Wolves, Cambridge.
Yes, we nominate a speaker.
Yeah, Neil's in charge, I think.
You're the most Tim Gudgeon out of everyone.
Really hate what's happened with Wolves. All that money they've got.
Hey!
Oh,
Who called
Madison,
that?
here we go.
Norwich away.
Who called that?
Dear.
I thought somebody...
That had to happen, didn't it?
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I'm not going.
Well, no. There'll be nobody at that game, I would have thought.
Oh dear. Let's knock them out.
Yeah,
Bastards.
little slugs.
Flames.
Breathe. Was that the last one to come out?
It feels like it. They've said and breathe.
There you
So
go,
unless
yeah.
they're having the break for Dowie to sit down, I think.
I've never been so aroused as watching Dowie stood with his legs really far open, smashing his big fist into that blue ball. Balls out. You wouldn't believe
Wait,
how
who's
far
doing the
behind
draw?
my feed is. It's Dowie. It's full Dowie.
Just him by himself.
Yeah.
Both.
Just
Home and
him.
away.
Is that all they can afford?
He's got a wee
He
bloke
can't be
next to
trusted
him.
to do.
He's got a wee bloke next to him who seems to be helping out. I want to know.
Is that Dowie?
Has Dowie got work in the morning?
You say weird bloke. Is this weird bloke pulling balls out of the hat?
No, Dowie's doing the full job. The guy has got a biro and a piece of A4 line paper, and he's literally just
Oh, so
writing
he's
it
not
down
part of it,
in
huh?
case somebody forgets, presumably.
Okay. That's...
Yeah, no, he's part of it. Yeah, he's like the host, but Dowie's the main event.
Natch.
Back to his sales job tomorrow. I think that was Cup Draw Live. So I hope everyone enjoyed that. Neil, do you want to do some Portsmouth review?
Yeah, let's do Portsmouth. I weirdly, by the end of it, quite enjoyed it. Aside from it being really cold, I mean properly cold for August. You see people there in their shorts and t-shirts, all expecting a nice August evening.
CJ.
Yeah, well, I actually saw CJ in his shorts. Yeah,
In his mankini.
yeah. Well, he didn't seem to care. So, but he feels no temperature. That man, he just exists. But yeah, I went from turning up thinking, what am I doing here? Not really understanding what was being presented in front of me, to gradually evolving throughout the match where... Sorry, I'm hearing myself again, so I'm going to have to try and speak away from this. So basically, I was watching the match, and by the extra time, I was actually really quite involved. Because we turned it around strangely. So the first half, when you look at the team, it bears no comparison to what happened last year. Like, it just seems like a bunch of players, and you've got people like Harries, Stevenson, Haynes, Thomas, people who you wouldn't necessarily expect to be in the first team. And really, with the inception of Thomas, each of those actually played really well. I mean, I want to give a special mention to Stevenson, who I didn't even sort of consider him when I was slagging off the squad at the beginning of the season. He didn't really form any part of my opinion because I just didn't see him as someone who was going to come through, and that was based on nothing other than he's never played before. But last night that was a very impressive debut. He plays middle of the park. He's very Maddison-esque. He drops his shoulder a lot. He's always looking around him. He's not, I wouldn't say he's as skillful as Maddison, but he's got a lot of the sort of accomplished sort of style of him. And as far as debuts go, that was one of the very best I've seen in the last few years. And that might sound a bit much, but
that's amazing news.
He made, for 120 minutes, he made maybe 2 slight errors where he dwelled on it slightly. But what I really loved was how he just didn't allow that to impact him or affect him. He just carried on playing his game, whereas some people could have gone into their shell and just become sort of Robert Betts, where it's just, I'll get the ball, pass away straight away. No, he wasn't having any of that. He continued to play his game, and that's...
He must have been exhausted as well. He's never played that long in his whole life, surely.
Yeah, well, the one good thing going from him as well is he seemed really disciplined in his position. So he was centre mid, and he was playing centre mid. He didn't drift, so he didn't go too far either side or sort of venture too far forward. It was just on centre mid. He received the ball off Gadsev and either played it simple or dropped his shoulder and actually played some really sort of sweet looking passes. So that's a lot on Stevenson, but I think he's worth sort of the time just focusing on someone who's a young lad, came in and now, in my mind, becomes an option. And that's great because I was worried that we didn't have enough options, but he is one. Admittedly, only one game, but he is one.
What were Pompey like? Sorry, just were they like a reasonable opposition?
They ran out of steam. They started okay. They've got some good players, and I think they'll do well in their league. I think, all told, we kind of took out of them by the end of it, and I think they were kind of the mind games played, and they kind of saw us as a team above them. And eventually, once it kind of got going, and we started to dominate a little bit by the second half, they were kind of happy with just to see it out almost. So getting an equaliser near the end was a little bit unjust, I would say. But no, they were fine, but they weren't the most dangerous of teams. Although they did take the lead, it was a penalty, which I haven't seen the replay, so I can't judge. Or like I say, I was the opposite side of it. It was one of those when the winger kind of cuts across our defender. It looked like if there was a clip of heels, it was only slight. I thought it was a bit of a dive, but I haven't seen it again, so we'll have to allow the ref to have that decision. But yeah, they took the lead, and that was the low point of the night, because obviously going there, freezing, not knowing much about the team, and then giving away a goal, you kind of thought where this was going. But fair play to him. I mean, half time brought on Jones, and I'm guessing he did the same as what he did against Swindon. He completely turned it around from a sort of intensity point of view. I mean, certainly from the first 15 of the second half, he was the main man. He got the ball, dropping the shoulder and just running at them basically. And it was a great switch really, because we've already spoke about Thomas, but he was unable to get in the game at all. He wasn't part of it. And all he really offered was a bit of a wall, so he'd get the ball, knock it back to someone, which was a little bit of a worry, I'd say, because it was the League Cup and it was an opportunity against lower league opposition for him to maybe show us what he could do. And I think what told most was that the fact that he's been in the team for maybe 18 months now. He should be used to first team, and yet all he could really muster was this kind of knocking back. And then you've got Stevenson, first debut, and he looked at total ease in his position. So there was a little bit of concern just that someone could be so far ahead, or at least in that match, to George Thomas. But like we say, we've kind of got to give him a bit more time. Tudgay was just, nothing was going for him, which in my mind is fairly typical. Who else played badly? Ricketts.
When you say nothing was going for him, what does that mean?
That means that he gave the ball away pretty much every time he got it.
Right.
He was more involved than Thomas, and he was certainly trying little flicks, trying to put people through, but his touches just weren't going right for him. So every time he got the ball, it would break down when he got to it. So you can kind of put that down in some sense to not having a good game, just one of those nights. But Tudgay has quite a few of those matches. So I still don't see him as a first teamer. I still think we need someone better. That could be Sordell, that could be someone else. I'd probably say that needs to be someone else, but it wasn't the most sort of awe-inspiring performance by Tuchel, really.
Because Sordell didn't play at all, did he?
No, he didn't come on, so we went for Reed. Reed came on, Jones came on, and those two did make a difference. Finch came on for Willis near the end of the second half. Needs must, really. I think Willis was feeling a bit of an injury again, so that's a slight concern. But Finch came on, did well. Didn't have much to do, really, but he kept it pretty solid, didn't do anything crazy. Gadsev was obviously one of the new ones, so I was quite keen to watch him. He is hit and miss. He's obviously a player who's going to be able to cope in that league, no problem at all. And if he has a good game, he will be a good player. I think what I saw from him was someone who makes poor decisions at times. So that could be a thread throughout his entire season. You never know. That could just be him as a player, and that's why he is where he is. But I think we've got a reasonable player on our hands there. So, place him alongside someone else who's maybe of the same ability, and I think we've got a solid midfield. But it's a little bit too early to say.
Maybe someone like Roman Vincelot, you might say.
That would be lovely, wouldn't it? Someone... he reminded me of a bit of a crossover between Vincelot and Fleck, actually. He was always looking. He had a nice pass on him, which was sort of Fleck-esque. But he seems fairly strong and sturdy in the middle. So, it's early days, but I no issues with him. I think it was a decent start. I think the big sort of the name on the night, really, the one who sort of stood up and showed actually what confidence can do, was Ryan Haynes. So obviously we had the news earlier in the day, or maybe the day before that, we'd gotten the guy from West Ham who seems to be a straight replacement for Haynes. So someone who Mowbray has been quite vocal about it, not being entirely sure about. But Haynes, once he realised he had the beating of his defender, he was our go-to man on the left wing, and he played really well. He put in
That's one of the main discrepancies between the fans and Mowbray, is that do all the fans think Haynes is someone not to be relied on? Like, of all the positions I would want to get in, left back would be definitely down the bottom of my list.
I guess there's that during the week that we don't see, and so we only see a very small portion of what Mowbray sees. And I get the impression that Haynes maybe doesn't show sort of the desire that Mowbray's looking for all the time. And again, I put a lot of this down to sort of mental sort of capability, mental sort of focus. He doesn't
do press, that kind of thing.
It's, in a way, I just feel like he has the capability, and that a lot of it comes down to that. Can he do it or not? Has he got it in his locker? I think yes, Ryan Haynes can. He's quick, he can cross a ball, and he's got a good left foot. But that only occurs when he feels like he can, or he feels confident enough to do that. If he goes into his shell, he's pretty much a waste of space, and it's kind of whether he can turn that sort of ability into something meaningful and consistent. And I guess that's what Mowbray's there to do, is make a judgment on a player. Does he think it's worth gambling on someone? And the fact is, Haynes has played well last game, but we all know that he could potentially come in the next match and lose a few sort of early battles and go into his shell and be the old Ryan Haynes, and that's always your risk. So,
what do you think about him in that position then? Do you think he should just be playing further forward, or do you think he can actually make it as like a wing back?
I think he could be a wing back, but it just all comes down to his head. If Ryan Haynes playing as well as did last night is the perfect wing back.
Was this like a Gillingham-esque performance, like in terms of first game of the Rico?
In the fact that he was just running at them constantly, and he was quicker than them. He had a lot more pace. He had quite a few shots on goal on his wrong foot as well. So it was one of those games where I think he sort of thrived on the fact that the crowd were behind him. Everybody was saying, give him the ball, encourage him to run at him. He was doing it, getting the beating on this player. So he's ready-made for a wing-back role, but I think he's had quite a few chances, so it's one of those where he kind of has to take this one. I don't think he will be afforded too many opportunities, especially now we've got someone in to replace him. I think that's the call for the next match, whether we go straight to this left back. But I think it'll be quite a bad call to do that. I think when you've got Haynes playing that well, if you want him to be a good player for you, stick with him. Give him another go to do it, because you taking him out of the team now when he's just played well is not the right thing for Ryan Haynes, I don't think.
If I could chip in with a couple of things about that, is this has got a touch of what's he called, Ryan Allsop about it, where we've just brought in West Ham's 20-year-old to potentially replace our 20-year-old. And
Yeah.
time will tell. Lewis Page might be an absolute world beater, but there is something a bit. When we quite like Ryan Haynes and we think that he's probably capable, there is something a bit grotesque about bringing in a loan to cover that position. The second thing that we're possibly forgetting here is that presumably Lewis Page has been brought in to provide competition to Chris Stokes rather than Ryan Haynes.
I guess so. I mean, all I know is a left-sided defender, so that kind of all.
And actually,
where does he play?
And that's
Can
the
he
thing.
play in the centre-back positions?
Well, the other question is when Ryan Haynes was at his best for me last season was the few games where Chris Stokes got moved to centre half and Haynes played outside of him. And I wonder whether with the back three, whether Chris Stokes maybe turns into a centre back on a more permanent basis. And I know that he's injured at the moment, but that's something that I'd be interested to see nominally, I think, especially when we've got such a
I'd
dearth of
love to
quality
see him there.
centre backs. Left of a back three may work pretty well. Especially
He's awful going forward.
Yeah, I don't want to see him go forward, and I think he's got the industry that could maybe cover someone a bit Kean Harris-y. I'm not sure that he's the permanent answer this season, but I do think that dynamically fits together reasonably nicely. I think that'd be interesting. But I think back
Because then that frees up Kean Harris to be the guy bringing the ball out of defence if you leave Chris Stokes and Willis behind him. And then Kean Harris can play these like beautiful balls, and he doesn't have to be going up for like mean, nasty headers, which he obviously isn't ready for because he's built like a bloody twiglet.
Yeah, and I don't think it will. I don't think that's how our back three will look very soon. Was that the bell for people? Was that us being called off?
No, sorry, my bad.
Is that? God, I should imagine that the listeners are hoping that this isn't half time.
Shall I do it again at the end?
I'd be very surprised. They're talking about this Finnish lad who is coming in, who is just big by the sounds of it. I'm not convinced we will have the absolute dream of a 3-4-3 with a sweeper. But yeah, the Page signing, again, we have to wait and see him before we judge. But it does seem like when you've got no centre-backs, bringing in a left-back is an odd choice when you've got two pretty serviceable ones.
I think, again, the kind of thing, take what you're given. It's just like Mowbray's had his phone on. He's just like, oh, yeah, whatever you've got, I'll have it. That's what it seems like. Or maybe he just hates Ryan Haynes that much that he just doesn't think he's an option.
Yeah.
We do need the numbers, but
Yeah.
I hate that it's any number. It's just kind of, he's available, let's take him, because then that just becomes just a mismatch of players, really, which is what we've got at the moment. I'd say.
So who else have we not touched on? I'm interested to hear your opinion of Andy Rose from last night, because you were talking about Gadjev, and you kind of where did he slot in? Was he right wing back?
He was right wing back, and he did Jordan Willis job at right wing back. But
he is James Milner of League One, isn't he?
He absolutely
It's
is.
just Andy Rose is a player. He's a football player, and
What?
Leave it there.
Hold the phone.
it's just he's amazing because he's on the wing, and he got so much space. But it was the Jordan Willis scenario where he gets loads of space, but it's kind of at a detriment to the team because he doesn't do much with that space. He isn't that sort of
But
player.
I remember you saying this before. I remember you slagging off Andy Rose so much at the end of last season. I think you might have like some kind of solid hatred of him that is maybe not completely impossible.
I want to find a position for Andy Rose. It is not right wing back.
But I feel we might see a lot of him there this season.
A new position for Andy Rose, the Andy Rose position, where it makes sense for him to play, because I'm not entirely sure, and yet he scores goals. This maniac scores goals. It's
What
strange.
position was he playing when he scored that goal?
He was playing 6-yard box. It was a good position. I don't know. It was just from it. It was put the ball in. He managed to get himself in there, and it was a good finish. And
Can you talk us through the goals a bit actually once you've done Andy Rose, because I quite want to hear about the goals.
They were good goals actually.
I'm just confused as to how we scored any really after Swindon.
Yeah, they were good. Yeah, all good goals.
We scored 3, didn't we?
3 goals. Ryan Haynes' was a impromptu right foot volley from sort of the corner of the box. He was just nonchalantly slapped his sort of right foot on it. It went straight in the far corner. Good. The second one was a very good goal. It was I think Stevenson played it to someone. Ramirez sort of held it up, and Gadsev sort of was following up. Actually, no, it was Gadsev to Ramirez, and then Ramirez slotted it straight through to Gadsev, who followed on his wrong run, and then slotted it home. Very nice. And then Roses was just from across into the box, and he'd keeper parried it, and he just sort of slammed it in. And it was, they were good. We were good in the second half. We were a good team. I enjoyed watching it. Brought on Jones, brought on Carl Reid, who I kind of think he might score goals. I think if he gets going, I think he might actually get a few for us. But yeah,
Ruben.
Ruben, on the other hand, was turning in his grave. I don't know where he is, Ruben, unfortunately.
No, Ramirez, sorry.
Sorry, I thought about your friend Ruben Reed. Him again. Ruben was, he had good moments, he had bad moments. I think he will prefer to play with people like Jones and Reed more than Tudgay and Thomas, because they're not quite as sort of quick in thinking as him. So yeah, I mean, he'll come into his own when we've got players like that around him. Yeah, but he's looking good. He hasn't built or anything. He's still small, but I don't think we'll ever expect him to become that strong. Welcome return for Adam Barton, by the way. He came up in defence
at centre back, and he's their captain.
Yeah, it's strange.
Was that a token, or was that like an actual real gesture?
Oh, probably a token, because he was the only one that played in the first game that played last night, I think. Or they made quite a few changes, put it that way. But he played all last season pretty much in defence for them, so it's now a thing. I don't really understand it, how he gets in their team as a centre-back, but fair play to him.
It's madness. In League 2 as well.
Yeah, the big
dominance to half. Yeah.
Are you saying that like as in League 2, as in it's really tough down there,
yeah,
or
as in it's more, as in it presumably more physical than League 1, and that just was swatted away like a fly so routinely in League 1, and not playing at centre half.
He was a waif, wasn't he? Like, if I remember correctly, he was just
there's just two penneth of him. He seems like, I was really hoping that there would be a place for him somewhere. He was one of them strange players where he wasn't good enough for League 1, but it felt like he'd be better off going to the Championship than League 2. Yeah. But playing...
He was the kind of player, whenever he was in our team, I was like, I would love for him to be in their team. That would be great.
Yeah, just completely freed up space. I think he was unlucky, wasn't he? That I think he had Fleck next to him, and that they're two players for who bravery isn't a major asset. And I just
and once our fans get on your back, you're done for, aren't you? Really?
But he's a lovely old big lad, isn't he? But
you like him because he like guitar bands, not because he's good at football, though, Joey.
He is good at football. He's just not good at anything apart from passing the ball.
I think he'd look very nice in training.
Yeah,
same. I would love to have him in my five-a-side team, definitely.
Do you reckon? I'd go through him first minute.
off the wall.
I'd smell it before we kicked off. I'd look at him and I'd be like, "That's who I'm having."
All 6'9" of him.
Oh dear. Any final thoughts on? Oh, you were talking us through the goals. Oh, you were Andy Rose bundled one in. Yeah. I'm looking at the time and thinking that we should entertain any final thoughts on the Portsmouth game, and then see about getting the hell out of there.
No real final thoughts, Joey. Just that it was nice to see us win, and I think we can still do okay if we play like that.
How did Reese do?
Keeper? Fine. He didn't really have much to do except pick the ball out of the net from 2 set pieces. Other than that,
because their 2 goals were just set pieces. He didn't.
Yeah, penalty and then a great free kick. I mean, the free kick was insane. But I called it. I kind of felt like this guy knew what he was doing from the set piece. He was stood over it for what seemed like an eternity. Lining up, got the measuring tape out, and they just popped it straight in top corner.
Poor Wall, or?
No, he just pulled it straight over the wall. They couldn't do anything about it. It was one of those that sort of dipped beneath the crossbar, like all goals do. But this one kind of, it just went over the keeper as well. It was, it was a very good free kick.
So he must be pretty pissed off to have conceded 3 goals in his first 2 games without really doing anything wrong. Everyone was slagging him off for the Swindon goal. I mean, his view was completely blocked, so I don't know what they're angry about. But yeah, he must be angry.
Yeah, but then again, he smiles. I don't think he's ever been angry in his life, has he?
Apart from coming
Can't
back
believe his luck, can he?
Training.
He thought his career was over, and then they just told him to play in goal, and he was like, "Thank you very much."
Is that us done?
Yeah. Yeah, I think
it
so.
Seems that way. I'm not going to bother with preview. If you want to have a preview, have a look at Sideways Sammy at Side Sammy on Twitter, and I think it's sidewayssammy.wordpress.com. But if you go to his Twitter page, you'll be able to find it. That's got a big, long, comprehensive season preview from someone who bizarrely knows loads about League One. But I haven't even seen him ball kicks yet, so I don't feel like I could realistically say here's what's happening. I'll be at the Shrewsbury game, and then too many games this season. But until then, we'll leave you with whatever this podcast has been. It's good to be back, sort of.
Yeah, it's been okay.
It's brilliant.
Thank you very much, Neil.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you, Laurie. Where can they find your blog?
They can find it at not www. Ignore that, because otherwise you won't get it. lonelyseason.club. Thank you very much for having me on.
Pleasure as always. And we will. That wasn't even meant to be sarcastic.
You managed it.
Yeah. I didn't mean to. And we will be back next week. Bye.